What's good, YouTube? It's the Miami Football Fanatic here again. Happy to have you guys back. And today, just going to go over my takeaways from the Titans game. Just going to run you through the offense and the defense, give you my analysis on how I think the guys went, and yeah, just give you my overall thoughts on the game. What another crazy, insane game it was for the Dolphins. Another crazy way to start the season with the lightning delays. But after the 2017 season, us Dolphins fans have learned to expect the unexpected. After what we went through last season, I mean, it can't get much worse. Lightning delays played a major factor in the game, with the game taking 7 hours and 30 minutes to complete, thereabout, or 7 hours 40 or something like that. Both teams had to wait a grand total of 4 hours to get back on the field multiple times to complete the game. Throughout the game, I couldn't help but ask myself, why the Dolphins? How does this happen to us 2 years in a row? But I guess this is the weather that's to be expected when you live and play in a subtropical environment like South Florida. You just gotta, expect some wild weather. That's what comes with the territory. But all the drama aside, I loved what I saw from the team during the longest game in the history of the NFL. This kind of adversity would have made the team crumble in years past. Through all the adversity, the team was able to come out on the other side victorious, defeating the Titans 27-20. The offense and Tannehill looked very sharp. The defense had their hiccups, but overall the unit got the job done. Both young and old contributed to the win, and it was just very refreshing to see our off-season additions making the impact that we hoped they would. So far, the decisions the Dolphins front office made this off-season look like wise ones. And the so-called culture change may be the real deal. I was just loving what I was seeing for the guys on the field and the sideline. They were looking engaged. Albert Wilson, was just looking like a real team player out there. So just loving to see that. Way different from last season. So for starters, let's have a look at how the offense performed. Tannehill had a great, efficient game throwing the ball, completing 20 of 28 passes for 230 yards and 2 touchdowns. He did have 2 interceptions, but luckily the turnovers didn't have a monumental effect on the game. But overall, I was very pleased with Tannehill's return to the field. He looked in command for the duration of the game. He was connecting with his targets well, and physically, he looked like the same guy. He had absolutely no limitations at all. If Tannehill can keep up this form and the starting O-line holds up, I see a positive season for the Dolphins. Speaking of the O-line, Tunsil, Sitton, Kilgore, Davis, and James look like an incredibly solid unit. They gave Tannehill a nice pocket for the majority of the game. Tunsil is still committing stupid penalties, but overall, he looked like a solid left tackle. He looked much improved from last year. I mean, the guy physically looks much bigger, man. His arms are just huge this season, looking a lot like Tyron Smith from the Cowboys. Josh Sitton was exactly what we expected, a very solid veteran left guard. He was just getting the job done. Nothing flashy. The guy's just an absolute pro at guard and was just tremendous for us. Kilgore at center is no Mike Pouncey, but he did his job in the middle of the O-line. Same goes for Davis and James. Frank Gore turned back the clock and showed us why he's a surefire future Hall of Famer. The burst he displayed was very impressive. It makes you wonder how he still looks this good at 35 years old. 9 carries for 61 yards is exactly what we need from Gore in his support role of Kenyon Drake. Kenyon Drake didn't have a tremendous day running the ball, but he again flashed that elite ability to make guys miss and burst up the field for awesome gains. Drake will have a dominant season in the feature role. Really hoping he has a much bigger game against the Jets, but a big game from Drake wasn't needed, with Frank Gore just having a tremendous support game with 61 yards. If we get that all season, Drake won't need to be the bell cow, but I really do want to see Kenyon Drake get up to 20 touches a game. And once Kalen Ballage gets some burn, this running back unit will be one of the best in the league. The Dolphins, they like to put they're rookies, on the inactive list to start the season. But Gesicki, got away from that list, luckily, because we need his playmaking out there on the field. But once Ballage gets more comfortable, I just can't wait. The future is bright at running back for the Dolphins. Moving on to the wide receiver group, Kenny Stills led the way with 4 catches for 106 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kenny Stills just had an awesome game, especially catching that 75-yard bomb from Tannehill. That was just a perfect bomb, a perfect throw from Tannehill, and Stills just did an awesome job just getting that tiny bit in front of Malcolm Butler to catch the ball for the touchdown. But, Drake did the rest of the work for the 75-yard touchdown, but that connection was just awesome to see. We haven't seen that since 2016, and I expect Stills to have, near 10 touchdowns this season like he did in 2016. That Tannehill to Stills connection is just awesome. Albert Wilson did what he does best, making guys miss, and did a bit of everything. He looked nice coming out of the backfield for a couple of carries, and he almost took a snap under center as a Wildcat quarterback, with Tannehill flexed out wide, which caused the Titans to use a timeout amid the confusion. Tannehill obviously had some experience at wide receiver in college, so the Titans freaked out and caused the timeout. That play caused them to waste one of their timeouts. Jakeem Grant had a tremendous day catching the ball. He had 5 catches, but Jakeem's biggest play of the day came on special teams, returning a kickoff 102 yards for a touchdown. Jakeem, he looks like a much better returner than he did in his first 2 years, and definitely will have many huge moments this season returning the football. Gesicki had a modest day, catching the ball one time for 11 yards, but the catch showed he has got solid hands and he's got a great ability to snag the football in traffic. I mean, there was 2 defenders all over him, and he pulled the ball in and got the first down. So, he was very pumped, to catch the ball, and Gesicki just showing that awesome ability to run routes. Hopefully he'll get more involved as we move through the season. Okay, so moving on to the defensive side of the ball. The defense as a whole played pretty good. There were some negatives to take away from the game, as always. Rashard Jones was the most dominant. Rashard Jones was the same dominant Pro Bowl safety that we've come to expect, making plays at the line of scrimmage with a couple TFLs while pulling in 2 interceptions. Rashard was just all over the field and is already making his case as an All-Pro safety candidate. Rashard Jones, even at 30 years old, was just still an absolute beast. He can do it all. Anywhere on the field. Minkah Fitzpatrick was just excellent on the day, looking like a seasoned vet in his first regular season NFL action, making stop after stop. He's always in the right spot at the right time. His football intelligence is obviously off the charts, but what makes Minkah special is he has the athleticism to match his brilliant football mind. The defense looks and feels different with Minkah on the field. He's constantly communicating with teammates and is already developing into a leader on the team. Gase even has said that he would have appointed Minkah a captain if it wasn't for his rookie status. He's definitely a very strong candidate for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Can't wait to see the year that Minkah has, and I really think by year's end, he's going to be one of the best players on the team and maybe the best player on defense. He's just an awesome player, so versatile. Just can't wait to see Minkah's future. Kiko Alonso had some alright moments. Obviously, his best moment of the day was snagging that interception at the line of scrimmage. Did an awesome job reading the screenplay and picking off, I think it was Gabbett or Mariota, I can't remember. But Kiko was still making annoying plays. I mean, getting stiff-armed by a 5'8" running back in Dion Lewis. I mean, he's supposed to be like a 240-pound linebacker. How is he getting stiff-armed by a 5'8", 190-pound running back? It's just incredibly annoying to see. We need to see that same Kiko that we saw in 2016. But maybe moving him out to outside linebacker was the wrong move. But Kiko just continues to make incredibly annoying plays. Bobby McCain was incredibly solid. With the Dolphins moving him to outside cornerback, it was a very smart move with Minka inside. Bobby he was great on the outside. He looked just as good as he did as when he plays the slot. So I was a bit worried with us, moving him outside, and obviously the move was just to get Minka on the field more. But Bobby McCain definitely looks great on the outside, and with Minka playing slot cornerback or slot linebacker, just the decision by the defense, by whoever made the decision, Matt Burke or the head coach or whatever, it was just a great move to see. Raekwon and Jerome Baker looked solid at linebacker. They were doing their job. They were in the right place at the right time. Didn't seem to make many mistakes. They both had 6 tackles apiece, and they're only going to grow more as the season goes on. They're going to get more comfortable, both being pretty much rookies. McMillan and Baker, I expect to grow a lot this season and turn into a very dominant linebacking duo, and hopefully their success can get Kiko off the field more. Robert Quinn was pretty solid. He did a great job bending the edge. He was awesome in the running game too, doing a great job cutting off the outside and forcing the Titans running backs to go inside. Cameron Wake had a similar game, did an awesome job, mostly in the run game. He didn't have many pressures, but like Quinn, did an awesome job in the run game. William Hayes was a guy that I really loved to watch yesterday. Always seems to play great against the Titans, even though he didn't register. Looking at the stats now, he didn't register a tackle, but the guy, he just looked tremendous. The way he comes out of his stance, I mean, if you watch him, next week against the Jets, the way he comes out of his stance is just incredible. And for a guy his age, he's so low, and he's pretty much on all fours on the ground, with his knees on the ground. I mean, the guy comes out of his stance incredibly powerful, and the guy had a number of pressures that don't show up on the stat sheet. So William Hayes, he's going to have another great season for us. Gottshaw was solid along with Vincent Taylor. They both played great. Vincent Taylor had 4 tackles, and the guy's he's so strong, man. You can just see it out there on the field. And Gottshaw, similar to Taylor, they both do a great job holding up against double teams and closing running lanes. So overall, the defense was pretty solid. Rashad Jones led the way with his 2 interceptions, like I said. But overall, there wasn't many mistakes. We didn't give away too many big plays, except for a couple of runs. We could do a better job against the run. Could do a better job stuffing the run. I hope they fix that against the Jets. Bilal Powell looked pretty solid today against the Lions, and Isaiah Crowell. Hopefully we can do our job against those guys and close those running lanes. But overall, I was happy with what I saw. Rashad and Minka just looked like absolute beasts. And Robert Quinn, William Hayes, Cam Wake, Charles Harris had a quiet day, but I expect him to be better as the season goes on. But I'm very excited about this defense, and I really think that we're going to be top 10 in the league as long as the majority of our guys stay healthy. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the offense and defense. Just wanted to give a quick shout out to Matt Hawk. He had a great day punting the ball. He had 4 punts for 53.8 yards per attempt, and he had a long kick of 65 yards. He's definitely improved from last year, and looks like a much better punter. And Jason Sanders was 2 of 2 with his kicks. He didn't have any long kicks. His longest was 30 yards on the day. But both the young specialists look great out there. So overall, it was an incredibly crazy game. It took 7 bloody hours to complete. It was just an insane start to the season, but they held it together, and they just looked like a different team out there. You can definitely see a culture change, and I'm really feeling confident about the team this season. They really do look like a playoff team. They look organized. They look explosive, and really hoping for a very positive this season for the Dolphins. Alrighty, guys, as always, make sure to give me as much feedback as you want in the comment section. Let me know what you agree with, what you disagree with, and make sure to like the video and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. I'll see you guys soon, and as always, fins up, baby.